Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are diving straight into something that, let's be real, plagues almost every single one of us. We're talking about bridging that massive, incredibly frustrating gap between our grand ambitions and what we actually get done on a daily basis. We're going to unpack some incredibly practical, no-nonsense strategies based on Darius Foroux's work on overcoming procrastination and taking back your productivity.
But first, we need to start with a slightly uncomfortable question. Be completely honest with yourself for a second. What are you putting off right now just by watching this? Did you click on this to avoid, say, writing an email? Or maybe paying a bill? Or starting a really big project? Hey, it's okay, we all do it. Procrastination is just human nature. But the fact that you are here with us right now means you're absolutely ready to confront it. So here is our game plan for today. 1, we'll look at the cost of delay. 2, willpower versus systems. 3, reclaiming your attention. 4, the perfectionism trap. And 5, building better habits.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the cost of delay.
Think about the highly relatable, totally familiar panic that putting things off induces. You know the cycle. At the start of a semester or a big project, you're just relaxing, right? You feel great. Zero stress. But then, boom. Right before the deadline, there's this massive, terrifying spike of pure panic. We kind of trick ourselves into thinking we're enjoying all that free time at the beginning, but research actually shows procrastinators only enjoy themselves until the rising pressure literally forces them to work. That panic spike? Yeah, that's you surrounded by empty energy drink cans at 3 a.m., completely freaking out.
And here's the thing, when we try to force productivity without a real plan, things get really messy. You usually start out with this perfectly clean circle of intention. You say to yourself, okay, I'm going to work now. But as time ticks by, that intention completely unravels into a chaotic, tangled mess. That tangled knot is your focus just being shredded by random ideas, internet searches, and self-doubt. It turns a simple, straightforward task into a total disaster where absolutely nothing gets done.
Which brings us to a critical breaking point, what we call the slope of procrastination. You start out strong, you're being productive. But then there's this precise moment, this exact slope, where everything just drops off a cliff. And how does it happen? Well, it almost always starts with one tiny little compromise. You tell yourself, I'll just check my phone for a second. Or let me just read one news article. And bam, once you hit that slope, you have completely surrendered your momentum.
Moving right along to Section 2, willpower versus systems.
So, how do we actually fix this massive drop-off in productivity? Well, the crucial realization is this. Relying on willpower is basically a myth. We all love to think we're these mental giants who can just brute force our way through a task, right? But the reality is, procrastination is actually a sign of poor self-regulation, and studies strongly link it to depression, anxiety, and stress. If you're relying entirely on willpower, you are eventually going to cave to temptation. The real cure? A rigid, supportive system. External rules like strict deadlines, timed work intervals, and physically removing distractions, these bypass your weak willpower and literally force you to get the job done.
Let's dive into Section 3, reclaiming attention.
To actually put those systems into practice, we need a major mindset shift. We constantly hear people talking about time management, right? But honestly, that's a trap. You literally cannot manage time. It's completely finite. You only get 24 hours no matter who you are or what you do. But your attention? Now that is entirely within your control. You get to choose exactly where you direct it. So when we talk about focus, we aren't trying to magically invent more hours in the day. We're taking aggressive, intentional control over where our mental energy is being spent.
And the absolute best way to figure out where your attention is leaking? Enter the activity log. This is a simple hour-by-hour record of everything you do throughout the day. Seriously, I challenge you to try this for just 2 weeks. Keep a notepad on your desk and quickly jot down what you actually did every single hour. You will be shocked, literally amazed, at how much time completely disappears into trivial, non-productive black holes. But once you identify those time wasters, you can relentlessly eliminate them. Because, you can't plug a leak until you know exactly where the water is dripping from.
Up next is Section 4, the perfectionism trap. We definitely need to address a very sneaky, hidden form of procrastination. Have you ever told yourself you can't start something because the conditions aren't perfect yet? Or maybe you don't have enough time to do it flawlessly. Let me tell you, that is just procrastination wearing a very clever mask. There are two dangerous extremes here. On one side, you have the perfectionist. They are terrified of making mistakes, so they never even start, which just leads to massive anxiety. On the exact opposite side, you have the slacker. They simply do not care about the outcome at all, which obviously gets them nowhere. And neither of these extremes ever produces meaningful work.
The real solution? It lies right smack in the middle. We call it the sweet spot. It's this beautiful overlapping area where you take the incredibly high standards and drive of the perfectionist, but you combine it with the calm, detached attitude of the slacker when things inevitably don't go exactly to plan. You still care deeply about the work, for sure, but you don't completely fall to pieces if it isn't 100% flawless.
So how do you stay in that magical sweet spot? It comes down to a concept called learned resourcefulness. Basically, this is the critical skill of self-regulating your emotions when things get stressful. Instead of completely spiraling and saying, "This is the worst thing ever," like a perfectionist, or totally checking out and saying, "I don't care," like a slacker, a highly resourceful person takes a breath and says, "I've got this. I can solve this problem." They intentionally delay immediate gratification for a much larger future reward. And that mindset, it stops self-sabotage right in its tracks.
Finally, let's wrap up with Section 5, Building Better Habits.
All right, let's bring this all together. Because before we can build awesome new systems, we got to clear out the junk. We need to be ruthless about eliminating some really unproductive habits. First, worrying way too much about things that will probably never happen. Second, being stubborn and refusing to collaborate with others. Third, and this is a big one, mindlessly checking your phone. Every time you do that, it spikes your dopamine, exhausts your brain, and leaves you totally drained without having accomplished a single thing. Fourth, trying to escape your problems instead of just facing and solving them. And finally, not writing things down, which just completely clutters up your working memory. Cut these out, and I promise you, your energy is going to skyrocket. To actually replace those bad habits, try implementing this quick 30-minute evening ritual. Step 1. Close out your day by journaling just a few quick sentences about what you accomplished. Step 2. Review tomorrow's calendar so you know exactly what is coming up. This is an absolute game changer for killing bedtime anxiety. Step 3. Lay out your outfit for the next day. Decision fatigue in the morning is real, folks. Your brain is a muscle, so save its energy for the real work, not for deciding between a blue or black shirt. And Step 4. Visualize the day ahead. If you do this, when you wake up, you will have total laser-like focus, and that snooze button won't even tempt you.
I want to tie all of this back to the bigger picture with this absolutely brilliant observation from the ancient philosopher Seneca. Think about this. We constantly complain that we just don't have enough time, right? And yet, we willingly throw away hours upon hours on trivial distractions and meaningless doom scrolling. Life is finite. Every single second we invest in procrastinating is time we can never, ever get back.
So I want to leave you with one final, hopefully empowering question to chew on. Will you build a system to get it done today? Or are you going to just let your life slip away until tomorrow? Because the gap between who you are right now and who you want to be, it's bridged entirely by what you choose to do at this very moment. Reclaim your attention, put your systems in place, and go get it done today. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I will catch you in the next one.